That would be interesting.
Interesting question mark.
Yeah. Okay, where is Cube though?
Don't
Oh,
know.
fuck clerics.
He really has a thing against clerics right now.
Not really.
Girls.
One of my favorite classes is the Grave Cleric.
All right, so first episode of the podcast. How's everyone doing?
I want another mom.
Yo,
You what?
mama.
I
Yo,
want
mama.
another mom. What?
You want another what? Is
I
this what
want-
the podcast is gonna be? Jesus.
Is your mom jokes?
Your mom?
I'll
Please,
go
let it
first.
not be your mom jokes, please. I beg of you. How have you all been?
Pretty good.
I've been.
I'm-
Is Cube in here yet? Bro, Cube's gone.
We can start. We can just wait for him to get in here. And when he gets in here,
If-
we'll talk to him.
He's in music.
Bruh. Okay,
Drag his ass in
whatever.
here, bro.
I will. Cube. Cube.
What?
We're doing podcasts. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta record.
One second, sorry, dude.
Well,
Don't
have-
care.
Bro, can I cringe?
Just use text.
B.
Bruh. Whatever. Let's just not include him.
Okay.
Well, then Brandon's gonna have to record.
So, is there anything
I-
new with you guys? Like anything new in your life happened recently?
It's fucking hot outside.
It is pretty hot outside. Not gonna lie.
Global
Yeah.
warming?
Yeah.
Global warming. Yeah. Interesting topic.
Oh
what
my
do you
god.
think about that?
One day I had like a basketball game and it was in like at this one school's gym and they didn't have any AC on and they had all the doors open and it was like 95 degrees outside.
It's only gonna get worse. It's gonna start to get to like 100, 120.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna die.
Fuck Georgia.
Bro.
Yeah.
It's gonna get hotter and hotter. In Maine, it was unprecedented to hear about sharks in Maine. Like that's what like Jaws was all about. Like the funny idea that there were sharks in Maine, right? But
is-
there are now sharks in Maine because it's so hot now.
I don't live where sharks would be, so I'm good.
Are
Shark-
you, though?
Pretty where anywhere coastal now, except for like the Arctic and like Antarctic is got sharks now.
Has anyone here eaten a shark? Like, shark
Wait.
jerky?
But wait, wouldn't there be sharks?
I
like-
want to try shark fin soup, even though it's technically not the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think you can have it in like Japan. They eat a lot of different seafood
The
there.
issue is, the thing about it is they cut off the fin of the shark, but then they don't do anything else with it. They'll throw it back into the ocean, and that can like fuck up the shark.
hmm
So
Their fins are like supposed to be for mating dominance, I think.
Yikes.
Yo.
Zoinks. Oh, my script. There it is.
So, I guess we can go into the first topic. It's gonna be kind of stupid, but why not? Aliens. Have you guys ever had like an experience
Alien.
with aliens?
No.
My grandma lives in Arizona, right? And so all the time she'll talk about how like she thinks she sees UFOs in Arizona.
Mhm.
that's
so-
the spot to be.
Yeah, and then so like all the time we're just like, no, not really. And then the one day, we left after visiting her, and then we were looking on the news and it was showing more stuff about like UFOs in Arizona, and we're like, well, okay.
Mhm.
And then she called us and she called us liars.
Wow.
Okay, do you think all the pictures of like UFOs are just lights, or do you think that would be?
So,
Oh.
from
Didn't
recent
something come
reports-
out? What's that?
Yeah. So basically, recently the New York Times did a big leak, right? And they said, "Here's some Navy pilots who had these strange encounters with these crafts, right?" And I'm sure someone can explain it better than me, but essentially, these Navy pilots, they're like trained, trusted people. Like you don't put some random like liar jackass into a fucking billion-dollar jet. You don't do that.
No,
Yeah.
pilots are pretty serious.
Yeah, they're the upper echelon of humanity, really. As far as like
Wouldn't go that far.
skills, and
I'd say they're not a
saying,
SEAL.
I'm not saying like worship them, but they're quality like humans, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're trusted, you know. they basically saw this stuff happening over the oceans, and basically it'd just be these like orbs of light, or these like spherical shapes that would go and just kind of fuck around with the Navy, and essentially like they just demonstrate like way superior air capabilities, space capabilities. They can go through water, they can go through air, they can go through space in the blink of an eye. And so a lot of people think that they have like gravitational propulsion. So it's not like any regular sort of form of locomotion that we've ever had where you like have a gas and like a fire to push the vehicle forward, or things like that. It's bending space-time is what these things have demonstrated.
I remember seeing this one thing. It was like a few weeks on like Twitter or something. I know that's not the most believable place, but these people were on a plane, and it was like showing like something right next to the plane. Wait, I'm gonna see if I can find the video again.
Jamie pulled it up. It's Joe Rogan podcast now. But yeah, has anyone had like a experience like seeing anything or like
Not for me.
When I was
Some
like,
people-
I don't have one
13,
There were lots
myself.
of pictures. No, pictures. Didn't
U.S.
wasn't
pictures?
Trump for like somebody like releasing footage or something? I heard something about
Yeah,
that.
didn't like actual like FBI people and stuff like actually like release and confirm that there's footage of UFOs?
the Pentagon is supposed to release a report soon. Basically, just whatever
look,
they know.
look. UFOs are just flying objects that are not identified.
So UFOs are not. We're not questioning if UFOs are real because we know they're real. Like you could have a football be thrown in the air and be like, "Oh, what's that?" You don't know. It's unidentified flying object, right? But UAP, I think, are a different class. It's a new word basically, but it's also sort of a UAP is unidentified aerial phenomena, and it's a new term coined by the
Alright.
government and its facilities to sort of basically get rid of the sort of the history of the word UFO, because UFO has like it has a lot of weight and has a lot of like history, and when people hear UFO, they're like, whatever. But there are actual things that we've seen that we literally just cannot identify, and that's why they're called that, But in those cases, there are a few that stand out that have been like sort of pointed out. That not only are they unidentifiable, but they also seem to be like extraterrestrial or extra dimensional in nature from what we've seen in the video we have.
You've done a lot of research on this. What the heck?
I have, yes.
Oh yeah, Funky and I have like a full blown out conversation about this.
I know.
While
I just like hear him, and I'm like, he knows a lot about this shit. Damn.
what if Funky's an alien, bro?
He probably is.
I
Are
wish
you
I
an
was a
alien?
fucking alien. I really wish I was, because I would leave this fucking
Why?
planet behind. These monkeys, I swear to God.
Take us with you.
Nah, if I was an alien, I would try my best to like sort of steer humanity to the right path. But it's
That's a
Would
lie.
you?
Would
so
you,
hard
though?
to do that.
What's your
Would
motivation?
you, though?
Would
I mean,
you?
you have so much.
So-
You'd have so
Okay,
much
so one of
dominance.
well, I've thought a lot about aliens because I've always been intrigued by aliens. So there's a very fundamental principle with evolution and with life, and when things evolve in a Darwinian fashion like we have, where there's the motto, the strongest shall survive, the weak shall perish, that sort of deal, where strength, is sort of the, I guess you could say the driving, factor of evolution, and dominance for the most part is the driving, influencer of evolution. You're more than likely going to have a species, if they are intelligent, they have to have like certain qualities. They have to have sort of a predator / hunter background, right? This has been discussed by like Neil deGrasse Tyson and other famous people, like about like like what would aliens look like? They would have to have some sort of good vision to see, probably bifocal vision, to be able to distinguish 3D objects. If not, even better, like they might even have like fucking sonar. We don't know. They would probably have to have some form of hand or tentacle to manipulate the environment around them and have tools, right? in order to sort of advance and grow.
Yeah.
And they would probably have to have some form of communication, and that's a tricky thing because that could be anything. That could be smells, it could be pheromones, it could be like different colors. You know, it could be something verbal, something spoken, something like a sound. We just don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, kind of like you were saying, if they're, out there flying around, then if there are aliens, then they've obviously got to be a higher power of what else is with them. So that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it's sort of strange to sort of think about it, but if anything, we're probably like a zoo exhibit. Like, honestly, we really
I
are.
wouldn't
We
be
could be.
surprised with the decisions some people are making. I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
I'm not saying like, oh, there's aliens that are like planted in the government and shit, like, oh, making dumb decisions. I'm saying
Nope.
like,
There
No,
are.
we're like the tiger exhibit. Like they'll stop by and see, ooh, look at what these humans are doing.
I mean, shit. Humanity's like TMZ. Like, we made TMZ.
Basically.
So I wouldn't really blame them, but at the same time, they might also sort of be. They might be some sort of race that like wants to create life. Maybe like they have a god complex, right? And if we are their creation, which there's a lot of quote unquote theories and talk of, the idea that they went and they found this planet and then they tweak some things, there's all sorts of speculation and a lot of it's unfounded, just like nonsense. But it's still interesting to think about the idea that
Yeah.
we didn't have a god, but we had like an alien race that came and like formed us, like sped up our evolution, gave us consciousness.
Yeah. Ow. That's kind of whack.
Pretty whack, yo.
Well, then again, maybe if they aren't our creators, and they decide to just one day go like, "Hey, let's just fight these humans, let's take over them, make them our slaves or something,"
Yeah, probably
Who'd
like
win?
Here's the
yes,
thing.
and then
I don't think humans are that valuable to an alien.
I would agree.
Because labor, like, think about this. Think of how much a human needs to live. You need food, you need water, you need shelter, and you'll eventually get like tired. You'll get worn out. A machine is much better off doing labor than a fleshling, like a organism that has energy and has to use like muscles and that kind of thing. There's always like the idea, like they want our water, but there's water that's abundant out throughout the universe and asteroids and planets. There's entire planets made of ice, entire moons made of ice. They could easily go and harvest that rather than come to this planet and like, oh, we want water. Liquid water is somewhat rare to be just in its sort of natural state, because you have to have a planet in its Goldilocks zone, and you have to have the right biochemistry going on. But I don't think water would be something that would target. Gold doesn't make sense to me either. You can find plenty of gold on asteroids, planets. So if anything, they're probably here just to observe. We might be like some sort of like experiment or like a zoo exhibit, or we might even be just naturally formed life that they're waiting for us to get to a certain point to like join some sort of like federation or group. That's a leading idea as well, is that there's some sort of galactic federation.
A Mortypog.
Yeah,
It
some
would
galactic
be
war
fun, like some Star Trek shit. But I think no matter what does happen with that, I think it's going to be just too strange for us to even understand or even think about. Like we couldn't come up with what's probably going to happen. Well, yeah, that's
Right.
aliens, I guess.
Well,
Anyone
I
else
mean-
want to add to it?
Now, if they weren't our creators, and they decided to attack us, who do you think would win?
I think humans are pretty like, we have high ingenuity and like we're pretty like resourceful, but at the same time,
I'm back.
if they're at the point that we think they're at with what we've seen the videos of, if they have gravity propulsion, they have to be hundreds of years, if not thousands of years ahead of us.
Uninsultingly, we are like roaches. Like
We-
we are
Yeah.
hard to kill.
Yeah.
We are.
We are.
It's hard to wipe out humans because our ability to adapt is.
All they would have to
second
do
to
is
none.
all they would have to do is just destroy our planet. And for a
That's
species
what
that
they
has
would have to
harnessed, for a species that has harnessed gravity, that would be probably very easy. They could easily,
True.
fucking put something like just instantly transport it into our like Earth's core and just cause it to get unstable and blow up. They could probably do something that easily. Like,
Good.
they could probably sling like a rock. They could probably sling like a tiny pebble at like millions and millions of miles per hour and just like right into our crust, and then we just blow up.
Asteroids?
You know, there's this one game. It's called
Gang? Or game?
game. It's called like Solar Smash. Basically, like,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and like you can use like different like varieties of like so-called weapons. So like, for example, there's like aliens,
Hmm.
and a couple of their weaponry they like instantly destroy Earth. It's really cool. It kind of gives you like a good output of what.
Think of like what
It
we're
could
able
be.
to do right now. We have the capability to destroy the entire planet right now. One person
We do.
could pull the trigger and they could destroy the planet right now, very easily. I mean, you could say like with nukes, sure, like there might be some survivors, but there's weapons that basically just have, it's like a satellite, and it has like a giant, I think it's like a tungsten rod, a giant tungsten rod that weighs like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And if they drop it from a certain height in the atmosphere and it goes into the Earth, it would be the equivalent
Boom.
of like a giant asteroid just going right into the Earth. It is basically the modern day like super weapon. Is that weapon? I forget what it's called. I think it's like Crying Thunder or some shit like that. I don't even know.
Well, I wouldn't know.
I don't either. But yeah, that's aliens, I guess. Next topic, I guess. How's life after COVID? Like,
Is it technically after
mean-
COVID?
it's not
well,
yet,
people,
but it's getting there. I
Not
think.
yet, but
well,
yeah.
I mean, people now are still kind of acting like it just didn't happen. Because, like, in Illinois, they're already starting to pass the laws where you don't need a mask, you know, and everything's starting to open up.
It's
And
down
in
here
it's
too.
Michigan,
And it
in
just
They don't have
feels
to wear
normal.
masks.
in Michigan, that law is already passed. Like, I think it was a couple weeks ago.
It's kind of wild.
The state of Michigan passed the law where we don't need masks anymore.
Do you think Americans will like culturally just adopt wearing masks like Asian countries, or do you think we'll just stick with?
Possibly.
Do you think people will just stick to fucking being shitheads and just walking around with no masks?
I mean, I just
Sure,
see so
both
many
sides.
people not wearing masks anymore. So like, I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
I mean,
doubt that.
even when the law was enforced, there were still plenty of people who weren't. You know.
That is a pretty true point.
Yeah.
I
So
just don't care.
From
That's-
what I've noticed, it's a cultural thing. Certain cultures.
yeah,
decide
that's
to,
true. Yeah,
certain cultures decide not to.
Americans just don't do it.
No, not even Americans. They're Americans. It's more of like a sub race of Americans,
True.
and I honestly blame a lack of intelligence.
Our public
Are they-
education system has failed a lot of people. Our education
It's-
is
I think
is
it's even
shameful.
simpler than that. It's common sense is not common anymore. People just don't have to worry about thinking because a lot
Yeah.
of shit. Like how
Well,
often?
yeah, because there weren't as many consequences back then.
That's-
Now it's like
it's
now
very
you
true.
you could easily transfer COVID to somebody like 10 or some people and could keep going. I think
know,
that's much what happened when it started.
Well, how many when going back to my thing on thinking, how many times when you were growing up, if you lost a toy or something, would you go ask your parents before you looked for it?
You
I
probably
did
ask
it
your
all the
parents.
time. I would ask, and so like effort and actually taking the time to do things on your own. A lot of people are just lazy, and they just don't care. They'd
Hmm.
rather take the easy way out, and that's not the worst thing in the world. If there's an easier way to do things,
Of course, but
people are going to do that.
obviously we have to keep our senses sharpened. And if we're lazy, then we can't do anything in times of crisis. And I
Mhm.
think that's been made apparent. America is at a point where, when there's something like this that happens, we just can't function.
Yeah.
We just
You know, bring-
print more money, print more money, print more money, and that's like the only response we can make. And we didn't actually do the proper procedures like other countries did to actually contain and secure and protect the people in America from this virus.
New Zealand is a great example.
North
They
Vietnam.
took care of COVID immediately.
Yeah.
The doctor said, if I'm recalling this correctly, I don't want to spread misinformation, but the doctors were like locking shit down, and the government there deferred everything to the doctors, which was a smart thing because the government officials don't know what the fuck they're talking about with the disease, but doctors do, and they're fine over there if I'm not mistaken.
I think there was a
I
lot
don't-
of misinformation. I think there was a lot of
There was a lot of
there was a lot of
we can
lying.
blame
There was a lot of
the
downplaying.
news for that,
There was a lot of downplaying of how bad it was at first too.
and a lot of upplaying.
Yeah.
We never got
Yeah.
just the straight facts. There was always either a sense of panic or a sense of it's not a big deal. But never just straight what it was, which was it was a disease and it's able to kill people and it's highly infectious. And that's
Yeah.
it.
I think also
That's
a glaring
all
point to
people
be made
should have
is-
paid attention to.
I think a lot of Americans died for another reason, just because our health is already in such a bad shape. Like, most Americans are obese. It's just a sad fact now. Like, I don't even know what the percentage is. It's like 50% of Americans are obese. It's gotten so bad to where I think that, along with like the heart disease and diabetes that are attributed to that, along with the fact that our healthcare system is absolute garbage, that we couldn't take the hit.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like kind of like with other stuff, US isn't really trying to help. They're just adding more sugar to more foods, and they're just making more foods unhealthy, and it's just spreading around. And people have the choice to not do that, but it's happening with almost every single food market.
So, I think if we think about it like this, sugar is addictive. It is a drug. And I don't think we can reliably count on humans, at least the general population of humans, to say, enough is enough, that I've had plenty of sugar, I'm done. Because there's addictive compounds in it. Sugar itself is addictive, especially artificially made sugar, like saturated like crystals of sugar is super addictive. And caffeine is super addictive. And you have like Coca-Cola. I think soda is the number one reason why America's fat. And then fast food. Soda is the biggest issue. We have to do
Definitely.
something about soda. Like, what else can we do? Like, we can't ban it because Coca-Cola is a company, like, they're going to lobby the fuck out of it. But I think we should at least boycott it. They should do a sugar tax or something.
Yeah.
Remove high fructose corn syrup.
Remove high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, like just stop doing doesn't the US help make corn?
It's our like number one export is corn and corn-based
Well,
products.
you can't do sugar in general because there's a lot of shit. There's multiple types of sugar. Bread has sugar in it.
Well, yeah, but there's other stuff
Carbohydrates.
that has
How
You have
about
good sugars
per
in it, like
gram-
fruit.
Per gram, there's a certain amount in a liquid, like a consumer product.
You're looking at probably more like fructose. That's the stuff that's like corn syrup and shit like that. That's the stuff that makes it sweet. That's actually worse for you. But like glucose is kind of important if I remember correctly.
It is, but in large amounts, it's super addictive. I mean, naturally it is. Like, you eat something sweet, you go, that tasted good. You eat it again. Just like psychologically, it's addictive. But I just think that the amounts that we have in consumer products is
I don't know if you can call it just because you like something and you want to eat it again, it becoming addictive.
I think
because
it's like a very
I like-
benign version of an addiction. It's like it's
But then
just
you could
liking
say you're
something.
addicted to any. You can say
Yeah.
you're addicted to your favorite food, which, in and of itself, if you have the ability to, like, look at what you're doing and say, "I can stop," you're not addicted. It's when you quite literally cannot function without it is when you're addicted.
Yeah, like when you start having like withdrawal symptoms.
There are withdrawal
Or
symptoms with caffeine.
when you'll
So Coca-Cola has
that is
caffeine.
definitely true.
Yes, so there's withdrawal symptoms with caffeine. So I think we should just ban caffeine from being in sodas. And honestly, maybe just make caffeine like super expensive. I don't know. But
That's not gonna happen.
people love their coffee, and coffee's not inherently super harmful. It's just when
Yeah.
caffeine's mixed with sugar and like Coke that it makes a really bad combo.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, a big issue with why
As
negative
I'm
things.
a monster.
The entire world is ran on money,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Coca-Cola as a company makes shit tons of money.
Yeah.
Absolutely shit tons of money.
Yeah.
You are gonna have a hard time, even with it being probably a good thing to like limit caffeine, put something to where, you know, people aren't having to get addicted to it. Coke doesn't want that to happen. Coke wants you to be addicted
Of
because
course,
they want
that's
to
the whole
sell
market
more shit.
scheme. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with all the money that they have, with all the power that this company has, there's no shot any government is going to be able to be like, no, unless the country is quite literally ran by the government, which
Yeah.
is not that many countries. It's not very little, but there's not that many countries out there where the government is quite literally in your shit all
Yeah.
the time. Like knowingly in your shit. Like going back to North Korea.
There has to be a
North
balance
Korea
because we
runs that country.
definitely don't want like some totalitarian like government is like, oh,
No,
do
no, no,
this,
no.
do this, do this, do that. But I think that these companies have taken advantage of the nature of this compound, and they have definitely caused more harm than good to society as a whole. And
There's no
therefore, we
benefit
should
Dr.
do
Pepper
something
and drink.
about. We should
There's no
definitely-
benefit. There's no harm than good. This is quite literally only harmful.
Yes,
Soda does not do anything good for you
yes,
whatsoever.
yes. It's supposed to be like a sweet treat. You know, you get it every once in a while. That's what it was meant to be like. But
I'd
it's
argue
something
that it's
people
not
drink
even
every
worth
day.
the serotonin boost it does give you,
It's not.
because the downsides far outweigh the serotonin boost. And
You
you
rot
can
your
get
teeth, you
serotonin
get kidney
boost from
stones.
working out,
Yeah.
from anything else. So it's not essential whatsoever.
The issue is, I think we should just do it in a sort of gradual way, where like we just put restrictions on like a number of grams of sugar you can have, and like fructose corn syrup, whatever. Like the amount per like serving should be reduced or taxed in some sort of way, in a sort of gradual way, to where we can wean people off of this stuff. But I think the larger issue at hand is just the fact that companies are allowed to get away with literally bribing the government, which is just called lobbying.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I mean,
one thing I
it
really
comes
hate.
down to back to whoever's in charge and whoever holds the power. They don't give a shit about people. They don't have to. And so they're not going to.
So here's my thing: if we are really like in a planet that's dying, and we're probably going to
We
be the
are.
last generation of this planet, and we have this system that's in place that is not doing what it's intended to do. It's doing harm to the planet. It's doing harm to us. It's doing harm to others. What can we do to change it? Is there anything we can do? Like, we can protest, but what does that do? Like,
Just cause more problems.
It depends. It depends on how large the protest is and how much of a backing it has. I've seen politicians flip-flop countless times, and I'm only 23 years old.
yeah, politicians are real
they'll-
fucking-
They will switch topics for whatever's the most popular.
Yeah.
And so it's whatever keeps them in power.
I think
And
we
they
should
don't have to
definitely
listen to
we should
protests
definitely
if the
we should
money
definitely
from companies keeps them in power.
we should definitely
So it-
protest that lobbying is a thing. We should definitely march on fucking
Oh,
Capitol
everybody
Hill.
knows lobbying is a thing, but how do you stop that? How do you stop the money from going into their pockets? You can't. There's no. We can protest all we want. There's nothing we can do.
We would have to have like
with money from their
we'd
pockets.
have to have like every citizen like boycott stuff, like boycott the products.
Quite
that,
literally, that cannot stop it. Because even in America, if we stop it, yeah, that's a huge chunk of Coke, but Coke sells literally all over the world. All over the world.
Yeah, Coke is pretty.
So
It'll make a
if-
dent, most definitely. But it's not going to push them under just because one country stopped. In fact, if I remember correctly, this is probably wrong. I don't know if we're the ones who drink the most Coke.
Americans,
Oh.
yeah.
Mexico, Mexico.
You
Mexico drinks
already
a lot of
know.
lots of Coke. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have like the 3-liter jug of Coke. We have those
3
too, but
liters.
usually it's not like Coke brand ones. It's like off-brand Coke ones.
Coca-Cola
So
es
if we
fuma.
stopped drinking Coke altogether,
Yeah,
that's a decent chunk.
we
we
can
are the
definitely like
number
reach out to our friends and our family members, and we can try to help them and persuade
Oh
them to make
shit!
positive
Oh
changes,
shit,
like stop drinking
bro.
soda.
Joe, it's Mexico. That's the
I'm
worst,
just looking
biggest
Yeah,
consumer of soft drinks.
Just because we stop, like Ireland's right below us, which doesn't bode well for me either.
because you're Irish.
But like if Ireland and Canada, which are 2 and 3, those two together is actually more than America, and that's just 2 countries. So every other country under Ireland is also drinking Coke.
Yep.
And so us stopping is not that big of a dent. This is one of those things where like, and it's weird to say, but I don't see any way of this stopping unless it's quite literally just wiped out completely.
Yeah.
Like the entire company would have to be shut down, which no shot that's happening.
It just feels so like
And going back to your thing on addiction,
it feels
people
so
aren't-
hopeless. Like there's part of me that's like, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? But a lot of it is just like inevitable that this is gonna happen. So it puts you in this like really awful like mindset where you're just kind of like giving up. And I don't want to give up on this planet, these people. Like I don't. I think it'd be
almost
really great
wonder
if we came out of this.
how America would be if there was anarchy.
I don't think anarchy is the answer, but I definitely think we should
I don't either.
flip
But
some
there's
shit on side. It's like we should flip some shit upside its head because there's
I've
just things
seen
that are
some
wrong.
interesting concepts. Like there's this thing I saw. It was actually in an anime. It's something. It's someone's journey.
Hmm.
It's where it's this young girl and she has a talking motorcycle.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, it's interesting though. But she goes to this I don't know if it's a town or a country, but it is not illegal to kill somebody.
Oh.
But in the scene I saw, this one person tries to rob the kid on the bike, pulls a gun and everything, starts shooting. Kid's behind the bike, not worried, and everybody else in this town comes out and fucking just kills this dude because he's trying to kill somebody. Just because it's not illegal does not mean there aren't consequences. Is what it was kind of trying to portray.
Sort of
like
the
these
laws
said,
of nature.
doesn't
as
make
well.
it okay just because we don't have a law against it. In fact, the whole thing was like no one in that town actually kills anybody because the consequences is they're gonna die. And and that's just how it works because it's not illegal.
That's kind
and
of
so
like an
everybody's
old
kinda
school sort
like
of
a-
like. It's just sort of like the foundational like sort of principles of society. Like humans will do that. Like it's just sort of like tribal thinking in a sense. It's like if someone does wrong, then we go and we all punish them, right?
It's the fact that like nowadays people don't believe there are consequences. And to a certain degree, there aren't really consequences. If I were to go out and kill somebody, I'd most likely get jail time. That's not as bad as it seems. I took someone's life and I still get to live. I get 3 meals a day. Like, that's not a bad life. I don't have to worry about paying for room and board. I
Yeah.
have shit I'm going to be able to do. And I went out and committed one of the worst crimes out there. So, like, people like that, they're not scared of doing it because the consequences aren't there. There's no reason for them to be afraid.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to die.
So
Well,
let's go back to the
how-
Coke. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was just asking, how bad of a crime do you have to do to get on death row?
Probably
Because
mass
I know
murder,
you
right?
have to do. Yeah. Because is it just killing or is it murder?
I think it's like serial murder and maybe serial rape.
Damn.
Yeah, no, because I never really understood the difference.
Okay, it can be imposed. I'm looking at capital punishment, which is death penalty. It can be imposed for treason, espionage, murder,
Ooh, treason.
large-scale drug trafficking, attempted murder of a witness, juror, or court officer.
So you know Edward Snowden.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he, by their laws, by American laws, we consider Edward Snowden a traitor. He's committed treason, and now he is in Russia because he has to hide and live in Russia, because if he does come back to America, he will get fucking executed. The only reason why they said he has committed treason is because he exposed a lot of the things the CIA has done, the NSA has done, as in like spying on your phone, that type of shit. All that sort of like that scandal, that thing that happened in like 2015, 2016, where everyone's like, "Oh my god, the NSA is spying on you." That was because Edward Snowden was like, "Hey, here you go. This is what's going on." Every cell phone tower you go near pings your location. You're there. Google, Facebook, all these things. A lot of the games and stuff made on your phone are also made to record certain like things of information, like your location, like behavioral habits, things like that. And there's this idea that we're about to enter into a sort of a similar system to China, where they have very extensive surveillance, to where they even have a thing called a social credit system. So they'll literally just keep tabs on you the entire time, and like you do good things, you get good boy points. You do bad things, you get striked, right? And it affects what you can buy. You can buy a house, you can buy a car. A lot of people think we're moving towards something like that. I think that sort of thing is just kind of creepy.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that brings me to another thing. Do you think the FBI is watching us through our devices?
I don't think they're watching everything, but what a lot of people have described is they just hold everything. Like they have
Yeah, I
unlimited
just-
storage.
Saw something. I just read something going back to the death penalty thing because I was just looking through all the qualifications for it. You can qualify for the death penalty for coin debasement.
Really?
Coin,
What's
and for
that?
those who don't know what coin debasement is the act of decreasing the amount of precious metal in a coin while continuing to circulate it at face value.
Wow.
So simply just reducing the actual amount of value in a coin and lying about it, you can get the death penalty for that. That's wild.
It's weird.
Everything else was like treason, espionage, or had some death
Some
involved.
sense. Yeah, some sensible.
But
like
this is
reason.
just that's crazy. But like everything I was looking, so genocide was on there, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But everything like willful destruction of vehicles has to result in death.
What?
Aircraft hijacking has to result in death in order for you to get death penalty. Kidnapping, hostage taking has to result in death. So a lot of drive-by shootings, if they actually die, you can get the death penalty.
I think a lot of it also too is up to the judge's discretion too. It's like
There's
the nature
sexual
of it.
abuse resulting in death.
Yeah.
It all has to result in death, which is interesting. Large-scale drug trafficking as well, which is
If you're going to jail, can you like request the death penalty?
you can, and if you do, it's usually denied because you want to die.
Bruh.
No one out there is going to ask. No one's going to grant you the punishment you want because that's not a punishment anymore.
Damn.
If you had your last meal on death row, what would it be? I'm gonna have some like background ambient jungle music.
Berber.
No.
Death row meal?
Yeah, your last meal, what would it be?
Probably
That's
something.
another thing I want to talk about after we answer this.
I don't know what I would want it to be. Maybe like some soup. I don't know.
Soup? What?
Yeah.
It's your last meal. You're about to
It's
die.
your last meal. and
Think
you
of
want
all
Christmas
your favorite food. All your favorite food.
What?
All the candy you could have. Like literally, there's no limit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But you could request like 8 different things. Like,
Yes.
at-
You could have a
I
full
like how
buffet.
it's
if you
your
want.
last. It's the last thing you're gonna eat.
I'm not
Dude.
100% if you're
I'm
guaranteed.
pretty sure you're in federal prison. You probably you probably have a limit, like a spending
will
limit,
have-
probably. But like it's pretty good. Like you can get a good meal and some snacks and some like good food. Like definitely fill up before you die.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of scary. Kind of like to think how it's like your last meal as you're
It would
eating
be
it.
depressing as fuck.
Yeah.
I would
No,
probably
I'd
cry.
be- What?
I would cry like a fucking baby. Like all the food that you had that is your favorite food is your favorite food for a
that's
certain reason.
interesting. So you are not guaranteed a last meal, by the way.
Oh wow, really?
In many countries, it says in many countries, the prisoner may, within reason, select what their last meal will be. But that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be able to choose what your last meal is.
Wow. What if it's like your last meal can be either lunch A, lunch B, or lunch C from the prison, bruh?
It could very well be that. And going to this point, why are we granting criminals anything at all? Why are they given anything like that?
think it's
they're,
like-
they're still human.
It's supposed to be
Why?
like an act of
Right.
mercy, right?
Why? Why are we
Like
giving
an
them
act
mercy?
of
They didn't give
remorse.
the person that they did mercy.
Because they're
Why do
still
we care?
human. It's still, bro. They still have rights.
Like
Even
they
if you
went
don't
and
want
did
it.
this terrible thing, and they're gonna get punished for it. Why are we giving them this nice thing? They don't deserve it. They haven't earned it. They're here because they did a bad thing, not because they did anything worth getting this last meal. Like that doesn't make any sense to me personally.
I mean, like,
Because as soon, in my opinion, if you take someone's life, you are no longer human.
yeah.
I mean, you're still.
Lost
If it was
your
like if it's like
morals. You'll
manslaughter,
have-
like you accidentally did it, no.
I think humanity is more than just what we are physically. Morality is a big part of it.
A lot of
And the
Americans'
ability to-
morality has kind of gone downhill.
But the fact that we even have morals is another thing. The fact that we can, like, Animal Kingdom stuff, you know, it's eat, sleep, fuck,
Yeah,
and they
rape
care
is normal.
about specifically, like, what's in their little grouping. And yeah, we've seen animals, that animals have the capacity to care.
Oh, Jared just followed me. Thank you, Jared. I don't know if you
Jared.
But there's something more that humans have than animals beyond just caring. It's the ability to understand that there is a morality to it, I think. Because I don't think animals fully understand that they care about something because it's this.
I would argue
and
that
they realize
certain
they're caring.
humans, I guess the higher the IQ, the more of the capacity they have to have morality. So a lower
I
IQ person would have less of a feeling of morality, I feel like.
I disagree.
Like
I don't think IQ
there,
has
you
anything.
could be raised in a certain way, right? And it could be like just dogma, like don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But I think the more intelligent a person is, the more they think about the consequences of doing something. And so I feel like someone of higher intelligence would probably be, yeah, I'm not saying this is true, but I feel like this is the way. If Jared wants to join here, let me get him in here.
You can join.
Yeah.
It's Jared.
I
He's-
think
He probably got something to say really good about this.
Joe,
I'd say IQ has nothing to do with it. It's quite literally just
Well, I
what
mean,
you believe is worth caring about.
well, it could be something with IQ, because if he's saying that you think about more of the consequences, the higher IQ you have, he could be right. Because you see little kids doing all this dumb stuff, and obviously they're little kids, they don't have a high enough IQ, and you just see them doing a whole bunch of dumbass stuff, right? So, you know, he could be right about that. And you see, you know, some animals, or even adults in general, just being dumb as fuck.
Alright, so the idea is like morality with adults.
There he is.
Is that the question here?
Pretty much, yeah. Animal
Okay.
versus human morality.
Inherently, animals do not have morality. Does a lion think about the moral implications of a gazelle when he kills and hunts for his family? It's all primal instinct.
Yes,
The same can be
That is-
said to some humans.
100%.
Inherently, like if we're going off of no background, my dad has a doctorate in religious studies and a master's in apologetics, which is the defense of Christian faith. I was raised in a heavily Christian household. I'm a man of faith. I say a lot of fun stuff for you guys just to make you laugh, but I don't mean it. Okay, 1 second. Yes, sir, you gotta go. Yes, sir. But inherently, humans have free will and we have a conscience. And the way that I see it is a God-given fact. And, like, there's a difference between someone like Jeffrey Dahmer cutting someone up and putting them in, like, a bathtub as opposed to, like, a wolf pack hunting a moose.
Yeah.
Like, one, we have the capacity to understand right and wrong. An animal is all instinct. There's nothing, it is just the way nature designed it.
I'd say there might be some like minute portion of the brain in a wolf or a lion while they're killing something. They might feel some sort of feeling of remorse, perhaps.
I doubt it.
But
I think
doubt it.
I would disagree
I-
with
I-
remorse. I don't think they would care about what they're hunting. The only thing I could conceptually believe that they would care about is what's within their pack.
that's true.
See, I can
And
agree
even
with that.
then, like there are, I
Do
know
you feel-
there are situations where male lions, the leaders of the pack, herd, whatever it's called, I forget. They'll eat their own kids.
Really?
Pride. They'll eat their own kids if they're out of food. But there is also a
Survival,
sense
I
of
guess,
like,
huh?
Well, let me ask you a question, Jared. Do you feel any, like, regret for eating a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A?
I don't know.
Do you feel any regret for going to something like Zaxby's or
At the same
Square
time, though,
Park or
at
something?
the same time, in human culture, like eating food has been very like, it's very drawn away from the actual act of like killing and consuming an animal. It's not what it used to be. To us, we go and we get this thing that's wrapped up nicely in plastic or paper, and then we unfold it and it smells really good. We take a bite and it's just juicy and it's good. But that was
I agree with you,
a-
but for
a-
hundreds of years,
it was a portion of
we've
an animal that
always-
was killed and slaughtered.
and to a certain extent that's true, but like if you look at different cultures, like take the Vikings for example. The Vikings would use, and even Native Americans, they would use every aspect of the animal. Hold on, I'm gonna mute
Mhm.
myself for 1 second, and then I'll finish my point.
that is a big point. I know exactly what he's talking about.
I think
They'll
most of
use
that was
every
just
aspect.
resourcefulness and just like
Well, and it's not only that though, but it's like within their culture, it was a sense of honor to do so, as to not dishonor the animal and yourself.
Because, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know the full facts of it, but a lot of it had to do with the religious aspect of it, is the fact that their gods put everything there, and to waste what the gods have given them would be affront of against the gods. So to go to Vikings, if they were to go hunt and kill an animal and not use all of it, like that would be upsetting to Odin, because Odin gave them this animal and gave them all of these parts to be able to use. Although I don't know if it's actually Odin or not, I'm just using him as an example. And so that would be a high offense to disrespect what he's given you.
So you guys pushing for the idea that morality should be sustained, if not like regrown, and we should try to sort of get back to some of our ancient or former senses of morality in order to help sort of drive away the chaos of modern times?
Not necessarily, because there are people who are born just without morals. There are people out there who just don't care, and it's not exactly something that they chose to do.
Well, I mean, you have like the example of like a psychopath, like a complete and total emotional detachment, like completely able just to manipulate to get what they want. There's people like that exist, but I think that's definitely like a rare case. Generally, I think most people know like basic right and wrong, but there are some people that just are savage in nature. Like they'll just like unleash their like rage upon the world, right?
Joe,
Well, let me ask you this. If there's a psychopath out there who
Okay,
doesn't
sorry,
give a
I was
shit,
just leaving work.
no worries, who doesn't give a shit about a person, he has the capacity to kill a person, and he chooses not to, he still technically would be a psychopath.
Yes.
But he
Alright,
would have made
so
a morally
the-
good
But he made a
decision.
decision to not do it.
This is something I actually have a bit of knowledge on because I have spent like fuck my music. I have spent a lot of time listening to true crime podcasts and psychology podcasts on the mind of serial killers. It's a weird fascination with me. Not that I want to.
Hello?
What it takes for someone to do something so such an atrocity, as to not only take a life, but to do so in such a usually grotesque manner.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not usually just murder and done. It's usually
no, and a lot
little
of
bit
it
more.
comes. So like, my weird, like Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was one of the very first serial killers I ever learned about. I didn't know a lot about him until like maybe a couple years ago. Dahmer's first kill was like in the late 70s. He was he was a homosexual who, like, just due to the times of it being the 70s, it was very, very frowned upon for like two people of the same gender or sex to be in a relationship. And Dahmer like picked this guy up who was going to a concert, he invited him back, and in his mind he had this idea of this perfect scenario where he'd pick this hitchhiker up, sweep him off his feet, and they'd live happily forever. Turns out the dude had a girlfriend. That was a trigger for Dahmer, which caused him just to beat this man literally to death with a barbell that was in his room. Like, you listen to like a lot of these people when we're specifically talking about psychopath, and the idea of somebody that is completely devoid of what we morally would consider a normality. I mean, I work retail. I have and I carry a gun and a knife because I work at a pawn shop. I deal with a lot of people that are sketchy. I've never had any capacity to like legitimately take one of the things I carry and cause harm to somebody else. But that can't be said for everyone. There has to be, like, the idea of morality, the way that I've always looked at it, is the idea of, like, justice is blind, right? We look at something like Lady Justice, you see, like, the statues of the weights.
She has a blindfold on.
Yeah, she has a blindfold.
Yeah, has a blindfold on. Justice is blind. You have to take emotions out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
With something like the morality of the act of murder, it boils down to the simple fact, like, murder inherently, we can all agree, is evil, right?
Yes.
And, alright, so we murder's
Oh, he's.
Hello, you're breaking up.
Oh no.
Sorry, my shit fucked up. Alright,
Can I move on to the
so-
murder is evil thing, if I may?
Sure.
Pose a question to the group. We're gonna do the. You have someone in front of you who has not committed a crime. This person later that day is gonna go kill 2 people. You know this beforehand. You have this premonition that this dude's gonna go do this. It's gonna happen. If you kill him to save those 2 people's life, and that's
You're a
the only way you can prevent this.
Oh,
You are a murderer, but you've saved someone's life. You've saved 2 people's lives. Taking someone's life is, I know, as far as Christianity is concerned, no matter what the reason is, you're not supposed to kill somebody. It is
Yep,
not
and
your
then-
place to take a life.
Well, I'll add to that. Like, there's the idea of man's morality and the idea of God's morality within Christianity. The core principle of Christianity is based upon the fact that every life is created in the image of God. Every life is precious. But you look through history, the Bible is riddled with stories of war.
Mhm.
I mean, hell, one of the most famous people in the Bible is David. He literally killed a man by hitting him in the middle of his head with a smooth stone. And it was sanctioned by God. The idea is, like, it boils down to what, like, is the inherence of human nature. And if you go off Christianity, every man is considered marked for hell until you accept the gift of Christianity. Right? Sounds very bleak and dark, I know. There's a lot more nuances to it, and I'm just doing a little overview. But
Mhm.
specifically with like my point, every man has the capacity to kill. I mean, I know.
I know I do, without a
Oh.
doubt.
Yes, I mean,
Shit, I had it this morning. The thought of like, beating the piss out of the person in front of me. I was on I-20 and I had the thought that I wanted to like smack a guy. Like I wanted to smack a guy with like a baseball bat. Sorry, my phone's acting weird. But I had the thought process of like just hitting a guy with a car because he was like fucking swerving all over the place.
yeah.
But the difference between like the thought process of wanting to cause harm and causing harm is the choice. Someone
Yes.
like Jeffrey Dahmer and somebody like Ted Bundy made an
A conscious decision to do what they
active
did.
choice
Yeah.
to give it to their.
I mean, the thing is, we have laws. And
Oh no, he's breaking up.
Yeah. I think he'll be back probably. I think I can elaborate on this point. When you make the conscious decision to choose versus being put in the scenario where you don't have a choice, I think is a big part of it.
I think what's really vile is the type of person who just goes and hunts like a person down, like just a random person, just kills just to kill, right? That type of person definitely just has to be put down. But I think there are exceptions of like
that
someone
one,
who genuinely
bounty
like, has.
Bounty hunters who go hunt people down.
I know that. I'm
need
not in that sense. I'm just
terror.
talking about like random acts of terror, random acts of killing, right? Like
Mhm.
people that are just like, I feel like killing someone today. I'm just gonna go find a child and kill them. Those type of people just need to be put down immediately. Like no fucking anything for them.
Is that our place to make that decision? I would agree with you. I personally would do everything within my power to stop them. But is that our place to take their life?
I think we
Is
could.
that-
I think if
I
we
mean-
if we had people vote, like just random acts. Of,
Is it any? No. See, ignoring that, is it? You could put it to a vote. You could do the entire U.S. population to a vote, and everybody that votes yes and no, it doesn't matter. Is it their place to take this one person's life? What
Well-
gives them the power to take this one man's life?
because we're a human society,
But
and
that means nothing, according to what we're talking about, because
You
it's,
within the confines, I agree 100% with Owen. But like the problem is, too many people think with emotion,
that's a big part of it.
and I mean, hell, in the U.S., like our entire political system is set up on this idea of an emotional connection with your political party.
Very
People have
true.
adapted this to their identity, where like even 10 years ago, and like 2011, if what was happening in 2021 was happening 10 years ago, people would lose their minds calling like people on like either the far right or far left out of their damn mind. But somehow,
The fact that
Like,
there is an actual hatred for someone of the opposing party, I've seen it on both sides. The fact that
I've
there's
seen
been
it
a
in
whole
my
hatred
personal
simply.
life.
dude, this whole red and blue thing is really getting sick. Like I'm sick and tired of it because all it is just tribalism. Like for
Well, I mean,
most people, all it is about picking a
most of
color and being on a side. That's it.
Well,
And
I mean, and
it's-
I won't even boil it down to that. I'll say, like, in my experience, the people that I've come in contact with that are either far, far left or far, far right are minuscule. Most of the people I know are, normal, middle of the ground. Like, you lean to the Democratic side or you lean to the Republican side. Like, they're mostly just, like, they want to find some semblance of unity for our country. And what Joe said, it's tribalism. But the problem is because of social media, we live in this idea of an echo chamber in which one tweet can get 1 million views all across the planet. And it's a dangerous thing. We have essentially created our own atom bomb where like one accusation against you of being either a sexist, racist, rapist, monster can ruin your life, even if there is no evidence. You are
100%.
crucified in the court of public opinion, which is so terrifying.
It's
somebody
a lot
who said-
worse than just getting
When you
crucified in general. It feels like.
and the worst part for me, at least, is the idea that there's no such thing as redemption. You did something bad,
And you
15
can't
years
pick up-
ago. Fuck you. You're done.
It's beyond reason.
I mean, it's astronomically stupid that we live in a society that does not like. We're founded on the idea of equal rights for all men, and within that idea of equal
Men.
rights, men and women. All right, what I mean by men, I mean like mankind.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I have ADHD. I think a million miles an hour. Everybody in this country, when you become a citizen, has equal rights in the eyes of the law. Now, there are societal
On
issues that
paper.
we need
I
to
don't think that's actually true.
on paper. Well, see, I wholeheartedly believe like if you have the grit and the like drive, you can achieve anything you want. The problem is you have people that fall into this idea of like a system that is oppressing you, but they're like the way that it's always been explained to me. I've had my grandpa tell me this. I've had teachers tell me this. Cream rises to the top, and by that I mean like it doesn't matter. Like everybody in today's society, no matter who you are, you're gonna run into heavy obstacles. There's no doubt in my mind you will. What you do after falling down is what marks you of whether you can truly handle life or not. There are those who fall and those who stand. And by like going back to my original point with like the idea of morality and psychopathicness, inherently, in my eyes, every life is equal. Every person that I see, I judge you off of a medium range. All right. And the idea of like you can't be judgmental is the biggest load of horseshit I've ever seen in my life. You have to make a judgment call.
And it's
All
what
right,
you
like-
do with that judgment that
Exactly.
defines.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've met people that like the first time I looked at them, I thought that they were like just off of their appearance, they looked like somebody I wouldn't want to be associated with.
Mhm.
But I have a conversation with them. I don't give a shit. I'm very talkative. You guys know me. I'll talk to anybody. I don't care. And some of those people have become my favorite people in the world. I got customers at work that are like that. That like on the first glance, I'm like, all right, this guy seems a little off. I get to talk to him, I get to know him, and he's great, or she's great, or they're great. Like we as a society, we have cannibalized our own idea of morality to fit into this like jigsaw puzzle of what we think the world should be.
Mhm.
And if you don't fit, you get burned alive. Like and it's the same thing with relationships. Like there's a stand-up comic I love named Daniel Sloss. He's got one of my favorite comedy specials on Netflix. It's called Jigsaw. And he talks about like how he grew up. His dad gave him an analogy about how like when you're going through life, you find one person that will help you complete your jigsaw. And what he was essentially talking about is like there's always somebody out there that will help you and complete you and make you better. But to steer it more towards like what we're talking about, like since we're on the idea of like society and whether morals are still like a forefront, to a certain extent, I think morality is still apparent in our country. No matter what side you are, we all agree that racism is bad. We all agree that
It's good.
Like-
What do you mean, man? Come on.
Cute.
Oh my god.
It's listening.
like, we all agree that like I would say the majority of this country believes that everybody should have an equal footing in the world. I believe the majority of us believe that life is inherently precious and it should not be taken. And if it is taken, it should be taken with like a heavy heart. Like one of the things that I listen to a lot of podcasts and radio shows. There's a guy named Colion Noir. He used to work with the NRA. He's a like huge advocate for the Second Amendment. I enjoy some of his stuff, but he said something in a podcast. It was I don't remember which one it was, but it stuck with me. It was like I had just started working at the pawn shop I worked at, and I was learning to work the gun side of the store. And this is before I could even legally conceal carry. Yeah.
What pawn shop do you work?
Oh, it's Emergency Pawn.
Oh,
The
okay.
one off of 93.
Okay.
You should come in someday. We'll hang out and stuff. But I will say, like, I can still carry a firearm for work. All right, and I am super pro Second Amendment. If you can, one, be smart with the firearm and know the way. But I'll explain that in a second. So what he said that has stuck with me to the day, that he will be with me to the day I die. When you put on a
Wait,
gun,
you work there?
yeah,
Homie, I live in the apartment complex across the street.
heck yeah, dude, we could totally meet one day.
I literally live across the street from you.
Nice.
I've driven by this pawn shop so many
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Small world.
That's fucking.
yeah, man. But so like we inherently, like, all right. So what he said, back to my point, because I got distracted. I'm sorry. That is cool, Owen. I like that.
I was looking up for a separate reason.
Okay.
Just because you mentioned guns, and I thought you worked at a this gun range that I went to one time when I bought my gun.
No. Yeah. So, like, the
wiring?
idea. All right. So.
Oh no.
We're breaking. Yeah, you're breaking up again. Can't hear you.
Still can't hear you.
Essentially what he said.
Oh no.
Okay, hold on. Let me get out of these trees.
Pulling a Cooper.
Oh yeah, we weren't able to get
Well,
Jeez. That's a little rough sounding.
we've jumped topics like a million times now. This is pretty fun.
Yeah, just discussing things. I want to go, if I can, talk about Jared. He mentioned something about social media earlier, and a scary thing for me is how you can surround yourself in social media with people that only agree with you.
What he was
Oh man.
Oh no. Oh jeez.
I think this is worse than
you
Cooper.
for the process, you get your legal carry license. Alright, I'm back. I had to get past
Oh
Still rough.
It's still really rough, dude.
Autobots.
It sounds like they're
All out.
fucking like the Matrix is
Autobots.
pulling you out.
Alright,
I'm Optimus
Prime.
Prime
So, I'm a robot.
of the Autobots.
Sitting here to eat all your corn.
Oh.
I just said corn.
I heard you eat all your corn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I heard was corn.
Alright. Yeah,
It's
man.
still not good, buddy.
Your veggies. Alright, is this any better? Like, am I
might
clearing
want
up
to
at all?
talking.
Okay,
That-
well, I
This
will,
is
like,
clear.
it'll be that way for a minute. Okay, so, just tell me, I'm gonna keep talking, tell me when you can hear me.
You're good. I can hear you clearly now.
Alright, cool. So, like, alright, so what Colion said, Colion, it's Colion, that's how you pronounce it. He said, like, anybody that can still carries a firearm has the moral obligation to know your firearm inside and out and realize that, like, no matter what you think, guns have a stigma. And he was 100% right. And what I took from that was, like, you know, I wear a gun. It's concealed all the time. I don't like open carrying firearms. Even if I do have my open carry holster, you will not see it. I'll have something covering it. Because no matter what I say or do, people are going to have preconceived conceptions. Now,
There are people out
I
there
have
that are
something to
just
say about
scared of
this.
the actual
I
piece.
have something to say about this definitely.
So,
Back in the day, before swords, but before guns came about, before then it was swords. You had swords to kill people, daggers, pieces of steel sharpened. You know, those were the tool to kill someone back in those days. And then you had like bows. Back then, I think they had the same sort of fear and idea, like a stigma behind
oh,
that.
yeah, you had to
But now-
be permitted to carry a sword.
Yes, But now we have you can buy like a fake sword. You can buy a real sword with like almost no permit. You don't even have to have it. I don't think. Like, I think
Yeah,
for certain places
but-
you might have to have like a license for like a blade over a certain amount of inches.
Yeah, I mean, here in Georgia,
I think it's
you have to
carrying.
have if you have a carry permit, you can carry any blade over like 6 inches.
Yeah.
I
So,
think it's if it's on your property. I don't
but
think you have to
think
have
about
a
the
permit at all.
response you would have if you saw a guy like walking around in like armor and like he had a like really cool sword. What would your response be? You'd be like, "Oh, cool!"
I'd
Like,
get on my knees and suck his cock.
But but
Okay.
here's my point.
Yeah.
Like there is this idea of like a stigmatism, and I brought up the gun thing to lead into this. Inherently, as a society, we have to make judgment calls. We
Mhm.
all have preconceived ideas of the way the world should work, and it is because of our like backgrounds. So like what I've experienced in my life is completely different than what Owen and Joe has felt and
Yeah.
like been through. You cannot like if everybody was uniform.
we're losing you again. I think.
Yeah, just a bit.
The world would be so fucking boring. And I'm sorry, like being like aggressively rude about it. That's fine. Like when I don't understand. Like back to like the whole political thing. Like we cannibalize our society, and like I've seen like really firsthand this happen. Like there was a video I watched of this guy who got canceled. Pre him getting canceled, he was on like
Oh no.
what
Yeah, you break it up again.
I'll rejoin back when I get home.
No
Okay.
worries, man.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, it's gonna be patchy.
We didn't hear how long if you said it.
It's gonna be patchy for a minute.
No worries.
Okay. If you want to just hang out, you can.
I
but,
sh- I mean, I'll be. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out, but I'll join the conversation when I can. I shouldn't be more than 5 minutes.
No worries.
There's also Twitch if you want to just join the conversation there.
anyone have
I
anything
would-
to add to that? Like,
I would like
any
a topic,
opinions?
if that's all right.
Topic
We've been
change.
talking about a lot of serious things besides obviously aliens. Just because we're gonna be wrapping up soon for D&D, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, D&D starts in about 30 minutes.
And on a couple light topics. What is the if you could have one skill that you currently don't have, what would it be?
That's tough.
Let me think.
Motivation to exercise.
I don't know.
I think really good like self-help. Like I've had some tough things I've been dealing with my mental health and like depression and stuff. If I had like a stronger like love for myself, that would be like the best thing for me, I think.
I mean, I just wanted to be able to like draw better,
Draw better.
be more artistic. That's the kind of skills I was talking about. Like,
I mean, honestly, like maybe computer programming or just being in general better with technology and computers and stuff. Because I want to do some crazy stuff when I'm older. You know, I want to have my house be completely solar. Like, I want to
I'd
be
love
able to
to do
rig
more.
computers,
Oh,
and
yeah.
mining rigs and stuff. And I want to have like advanced technology all throughout my house. to
Me
do things.
too.
I'd be careful about though, because you're gonna get called by all of your friends when they can't connect to their fucking Wi-Fi, and all they
true.
have to
Oh,
do
no.
is
But
unplug
that's
it from
already what my life is like. I'm always
Yeah,
the one they
that's-
call for the router. Always.
You
That's-
literally,
that's
I know what
stupid.
you do. You unplug it, and you
Unplug
plug
it,
back
you
in
plug it back
after
in,
30
let it
seconds. If
reset.
doesn't work,
Call
Yep.
fucking charter.
nah.
Yeah,
See, there's a step-by-step process I do for our router.
Mhm.
You unplug it, wait 30 seconds, plug it back in, just to the
Literally
wall.
what I do.
Then I'll unplug the actual thing that goes,
Mhm.
the other cord that would connect to the internet. It's like the Ethernet one.
Mhm.
Unplug that, give it time, go back. Then I'll just do the reset on it, like the actual button. And by that point, it's fixed.
Yeah, I think I would like to skateboard. Like, skateboarding would be
Skateboard?
fun. Yeah.
Skateboarding's chill.
I never could skateboard because like the balance always like freaked me out. Like I never wanted to like fall like flat on my face. I used to BMX, and
I'm
BMX
so-
was cool. But skateboarding was just always one of those things that sketched
You
me
were
out
a
so much. There's like
BMX
no
kid?
safety with the skateboard to me.
I'm just too clumsy to skateboard.
I mean,
I'll
I
try.
longboard every now and then, and it's not that bad.
Yeah, you're more of a fucking athlete than all of us combined.
Yeah.
I've been
You're-
Yeah.
soccer for 7
Yeah.
years.
Okay, that's low key true.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but-
high key true. What do
No.
you mean?
No, it is true.
Like,
Come on, sir.
you are the athlete.
100% true.
The athlete of this group.
Like I miss playing soccer.
Bro, you can play
Soccer.
what?
Ew,
You can play
Just look at Brendan. Just look at Brendan.
What?
Come on.
Jared, do you remember
Sarah.
Alex?
Excuse me?
You're a grass
Which
boy.
Alex?
Why would you play soccer?
Alex Licky.
Because
You
I
know
love
Alex?
soccer.
Yeah, I still talk to Alex all the
Bro,
time.
bro,
Yes, I know
Sarah,
Alex.
soccer's football, you know.
We used to
No.
play
Oh.
soccer out by Turner Field every now and then.
And basketball and volleyball.
Yeah, we all need to get together and go play baseball, like one Wednesday when I'm off. If you guys are off,
Hell yeah.
I'd be super down.
Hey,
I'll
Sarah.
talk to Alex tonight.
Or maybe we could all go fishing too.
That
Yeah,
I don't
Oh.
have patience for fishing.
Nah,
Yeah,
see,
it's like $20.
it's more
for
than
license.
just fishing. It's more than just fishing. What you do is you go out onto the lake
You get beer.
or wherever you're at, beer, couple blunts, and you chill, and then occasionally catch a fish. You're there to chill. You're not really fishing. But say
Yeah.
Dink does that all the time, and I wish I could go on a fishing trip with Dink because you
Yeah,
know
Dink's
that
cool.
shit would be chill as fuck.
I tell you that his little brother works at the same place
You
that I
did
work
tell
at.
me. Yeah.
It's just so weird because he looks completely different than Dink. He's like short, and he's like way darker than Dink, and he has like dreads, and Dink is like bald, tall, and light skinned, which is so weird.
Dink is
He's
like,
older too.
what?
Jalen's
He's
like
old. He should-
the guy
should
that
be
works
bald.
at the place I work at. He's young too. He's like 20ish, I think.
Yo, have you
Like,
ever seen Dink High?
Yeah, he's
Dude,
coming
he
in
looks
to
like
work
a
glazed.
fucking crackhead.
Yeah, he does.
He fucking like twitches and shit, and I'm like, bro, what are you? You alright?
I don't know.
Like he'll fucking do. But I know though when he's high, he fucking crip walks. I've seen him.
That's funny.
I've seen him do the little lean back on the side. I love it. It's so he's cool as shit. I'm
I
probably
miss
gonna
Dink.
honestly buy Bud.
I don't even have. I have his like Facebook still, but I barely talk to him.
I have his number.
It was a chill dude.
He sent me a fucking picture. He's got Airheads
Oh shit, edibles.
400 milligram.
If you want some very crappy tasting but very potent brownies, come to my house. I have a shit ton.
Right now,
If you want, sure.
I fucking bet, dude. All the edibles I have, besides the one I've made,
I'm telling you, they're very
Yeah.
dry.
they're garbage. I
They're
don't
very
care.
dry, but they
The
are
objective is to
so
get high.
effective. So effective. So crazy.
The objective is to get fucking blasted, dude, not to fucking. All right, who here's a peruser of marijuana besides me and Joe? Anybody else?
Definitely not me.
Definitely not
Understandable.
me
Wink, wink.
either.
Wink, wink.
Or you could just be honest.
She does like
being
cartridges,
honest.
like THC cartridges, I think.
I do every now and then.
You
Um,
do THC cartridges?
every now and then
All
depends
right.
on the mood.
Man,
She's never
I'm
had like
probably gonna
actual
get this
bud though,
fucking-
which is kind of sad.
Yeah,
dude, you're missing out.
Actual bud is a whole different thing. Like the actual like smell of the flower, like you get like very like you turn into one of those like douchebags. You see it like a barista like coffee place where they're like, the flavors, the scents.
Nah, but hear me out though. Like, let's be
it
honest
really
though.
is,
You and
though.
me understand. Like, when you fucking get a good whiff of some good fucking bud, like you can tell eventually just by the
Okay,
smell of
fun-
it.
The color,
will you
like,
all-
it's a whole different thing. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Mhm.
Funky, you also know that I have pretty strict parents, so if I
do
even
I.
did, they would know.
The funny thing
right
is the
away.
stricter the parent, like the more I've seen someone like wants to do stuff like that.
That's how it
Okay.
works. It's
It's so
exactly how it
backwards.
works.
Like if
I
you
was
don't want
drinking
your
at
kids to do anything,
yeah,
just
dude, I was
like,
fucking-
all right, go for it, try it. Like
Fucking snuck people in. We would drink all sorts of fun shit when I
Yeah.
was
Yeah, no, strict
living.
parents create sneaky kids.
the sneakiest kids. Yes, 100%.
That is true.
That's why I became such a good liar as well.
wow.
Relatable, yes.
Relatable.
God, I fucking haven't been high in like 3 days.
3 days. Oh my god, he's gonna die, y'all.
No, I'm fine. It's just I haven't been, not high every day for a hot minute.
Shit,
So-
man. Tomorrow, if you want, I can bring a little bud with me. We can roll up at your place. You'd have to pick me up though, because my fucking truck's still in the shop. That truck has been in the shop for like.
That
Ever since I
actually
bought it.
could work because I don't think my roommate's gonna be here either. So, and I just don't like people talking to my roommate because my roommate's a douche.
Is he?
Yeah, he has his moments. He's getting better.
Dude, I have a lot of coworkers that are kind of douchey. Like,
Yeah,
coworkers are a whole other topic. Like,
that is true.
jeez. My new job
I-
is pretty strange. I'd say like, it's
Yeah,
definitely
it seems
cozy.
like it.
It's definitely cozy.
Bro, you
Wait,
still got
where you
openings up
working
there?
Mhm.
Fucking ask them if they want another tall ass white guy.
uh,
Where do you work?
Learn their stations in 2 days and run house. Like,
it's definitely a different type of cooking, I guess. But I mean, it's. I'm not sure if they even need more line cooks. I could ask.
I'd say, homie, I'm the vibe. You know that.
Yeah, I know. I'll let them know if they need, but
Yeah, I gotta see
Cuba
how...
used
Oh shit, dude, I got an interview.
ad block term. Wow. Oh, thank you, Cube. Actually doing mod stuff.
Forgot I have that interview tomorrow.
Yeah, you got that interview. Never mind then.
At 3. So, after that, it would be fine.
Yeah. Well,
Hey Joe, where do you work?
You're telling me you're not gonna
it's
be able to do
a
this
it's a
after 3
restaurant
o'clock?
on our city square, which is square is just basically like a plaza.
Literally a square.
Yeah, and it's called City Pharmacy. It's definitely an uppity place, I would call it. I'm a fucking southern hick, so I use words like that, uppity. It just means like it's it's not like cheap fast food. It's not like a crappy mom and pop place. It's a nicer place.
Yeah.
So the meals are like 20, 30,
Is it
40
though?
bucks.
You work Wednesday, hey, Jared?
Oh no.
Wednesday I do. Yes, I'm on Saute Wednesday. My first day training on Saute
Saute.
officially. I've been training on Saute though, like
You work
just shadowing.
Wednesday.
Bro, I'll
So-
drop by
Um,
and try to-
Since I'm working Saute, I literally like make the main dishes.
My daily.
I'm gonna come in Wednesday and order something off of your station.
Oh jeez, man, it's so
I'm gonna
sketchy too.
I'm gonna
No.
send so much shit back if it's not fucking perfect.
Oh my god, you'll love my succotash. The succotash is so good. Jared, your mic is fucked.
Me and Jared are gonna do that.
You ruined.
Oh my god.
You
Jared,
ruined my
what are you
fuck-
doing?
It's like the Eldritch gods are speaking to us.
Oh,
Who's
no,
calling out?
Like,
Alright, that was a little. Hell yeah.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's. I would definitely
I
say it's
live
a
in
more cozy place to work. But it's
Population too.
the people there. I
Yeah.
don't like a lot of the people there.
Like no
get along
good
with them.
cell service out
Are
here.
they preppy?
There's some preppy people, definitely.
Yeah, gross.
A lot of the waiters are preppy. For the most
There's
part, they've been
a,
nice. Like, I'm not gonna say they've been like douchebags or mean or anything. They've been nice,
Yeah.
but they're just that kind of people. I
They're
would
what
s-
you would describe white people.
the only
the white
people I
people.
really have a problem with is my brother. That's another thing. If you were to work, I wouldn't recommend working here because my brother Evan works there as well, and he's kind of a total ass. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know if Jared ever met him,
Oh.
but Andrew could probably tell
One
you. Evan,
conversation I had with Evan. Yeah, I've met Evan a couple times.
Evan's
he
kind of an
is a
ass.
cock munch. He did. I'll tell you.
I've been
I'll
dealing
tell you
with
a fun
asses
story about him
for
and
a
Jackson.
long time.
Yeah,
So-
he's an ass,
So-
and then his roommate or whatever, or he's not his roommate, he's like his former roommate or some shit. He also works there, and he's also kind of an ass. But they're really only kind of an ass when it comes to like making food, because they want to take the food seriously. They take it a little too seriously, you know.
Oh, that's understandable.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they
I
take
mean,
pride in their work.
They do take a lot of pride in their work.
That's understandable, especially with food. I know people like that.
yeah,
Shit,
but,
I used to be like that.
yeah, they can be kind of douchey and kind of an ass sometimes
Whatever.
too, though.
I've grown. I'm at the point where I'll pop someone in the face if I need to. Like, no one's gonna talk to me in any type of way that I'm not okay with.
Yeah.
Granted, though,
there's a lot of like
fucking don't give a shit.
me as I've kind of grown up. Like I say, oh, as I've grown up, ooh, big me. But
No, that's something you can say.
as
He's old.
I've grown, like when I'm at the workplace, it's so weird to me when someone is joking in sort of a perverted way, or
It is weird.
it's just really strange to me. There's been a couple of cases of that, just like comments or remarks made that are just, why would you say
yo,
that? Like,
Joe.
why would you say that? Why would you do that?
I know I never told you this when we worked together.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to eat your ass, my guy. I was looking at it every time we were working salad fry, my guy.
All right,
Whoa.
Keep it on my
goodbye.
shoulder.
That's the other podcast. See you guys later.
The issue is, that like, I'm not even gonna get into that. No, that's a whole other topic for another day.
No, we both know you don't have an ass.
Yeah,
Both of us
I have a
don't
pretty flat ass. Yeah,
And neither one of us have an ass. So,
yeah.
nah, you wanna know who had an ass? Christina had an ass. Woo.
Damn, I miss looking at her ass. Shit. Yeah.
Sucks that she's only allowed to date Russians.
Is she really?
Yeah, dude, it's her family, dude. Because
Is
she's
her family
Russian.
Russian?
And her-
Oh shit. That's
yeah,
why.
so apparently she's quite literally only allowed to date Russians.
That's the blonde one, right?
Yeah, the hot
Damn.
one.
The
The
really
like,
fucking hot
best
one, yeah.
fucking figure you've ever seen in your life.
Damn.
Quite literally, like, perfect body.
Yeah. Damn.
Fucking gorgeous.
Well, I have a lot of good memories at Longhorns. A lot of bad ones too. A lot more bad ones, but a lot of
Shit,
good ones
I was
too.
fucking high half the time.
Dude, you literally.
Towards the end of it, I was
You-
smoking at work. Like, I didn't give a shit.
I was about to say, you guys want to know something about Owen? He was literally smoking a fucking blunt at
I
work.
brought blunts into work and would smoke and blow I would blow the smoke up into our vents.
That shit was funny as fuck when I heard about that.
Dude, that
Andrew was
place
like,
didn't give two shits about us.
Andrew-
So I was like, fuck it.
Andrew was like, he came home and he was like exhausted or whatever because he had to stay security or some shit. And he was like, yeah, so Owen was just smoking a blunt at work. I was like, really? What? He was like, yeah, I kind of respect him for it, but also it was kind of weird. Like,
Oh yeah, that was weird as shit, but I couldn't care less about that place. I was getting so
were you trying to get
stressed out.
fired or were you just like pissed?
No,
or
no, no.
what?
I was stressed as shit. All the time. I was
The
stressed
thing
and
is that,
tired.
like, I think even if
and
they
I just
saw you, they
didn't
wouldn't do
give a
anything.
shit anymore.
That place, man.
No, fucking Ellie. I had the blunt behind my ear once, and Ellie was like, "Why do you have that behind your ear? Put that away." And I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
And I
That's the
yeah, that
funniest
was it.
shit.
That was the
I-
extent of it.
Tay
They
told
knew
me a
I was
story.
high
Tay told me a
because
story
they could
where
smell it.
Tay told me a story before we like quit whatever, that this one dude used to work here at Longhorns, and he came in like high as fuck at work one day, and he did basically the same thing you did, like was smoking at work and shit. But he got so fucking high, he was like, "Oh, I lost my blunt, whatever," and he was literally tucked behind his ear, and Paul was coming in. So,
That's the thing. I was actually smoking though when Paul was there, and I didn't realize it.
oh shit, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was the thing. I always had to fucking. We went so deep in the shit that I actually had to stop doing that because Paul was there like every fucking day. And like one thing I
You
always
said a
pride
little bit
myself-
after I quit, right? When did you? when did
like
you
a
leave?
week later.
Yeah. So what was it like?
I
when,
walked
when
out
we
on a
quit?
Sunday.
What was it like when me and Andrew quit?
It really wasn't. I don't mean this in a negative way. It really wasn't that different.
Just the same old bullshit.
Yeah, I was just, bro. They threw me on char so much. I was so hot all the time.
Yeah.
Bro, I would literally just put out the blunt on the fucking char, and it would
Oh
just
my
look
God.
like everything else there. And so,
That's the funniest shit.
fucking, that's where I got the nickname Gangster from. Cortez.
Yeah, Cortez is a fucking.
They didn't give a shit.
Badass.
I mean, Dink fucking, though he had good reason when his was his cousin or brother shot himself.
Yeah.
Dink had brought in a fucking thing of either whiskey or some shit like that, one of the plastic bottles, pocket size. Just knocked the entire thing back, and I was like, yeah, fully understand. I'd feel that way
Shit,
too.
yeah.
Fuck you mean? I would have fucking just smoked in front of everybody. I wouldn't give them two shits if that's what would happen to me. And they wouldn't have said jack shit.
Yeah.
Did I tell you why I quit? Like why? I
Funky,
walked out?
look in your DMs.
I have something in my DMs.
I gave you a shitty drawing.
Shitty drawing. I love shitty drawings. Ooh. Is this all us? What is this?
In the top, it's like the 5 of us, but I did it within like 5 minutes, so it's really shitty.
Oh my god, I love this.
Yo, we need to have a group meetup because I need to see you guys' faces
Why am I-
so I can put faces to voices.
Oh, I'm a monkey. Okay. Oh my
Here,
god.
wait,
That's
I
the,
can
that's
send
the
you- I
cutest
can-
thing. I love this shit so much.
See, okay, I was gonna draw you like dark brown, but then I was like, wait, I'm gonna like get canceled for this because he's actually white.
Bruh. This
Here,
is
wait,
so
what-
He's
good.
a pasty bitch.
Look at this art you just drew. I'll post in general.
I did it in 5 minutes, so it's really shitty.
It looks so good though. Like,
probably
you have
better
a
than
really
me.
cool style.
Okay, no, I
I
have
wish I
multiple
was
different- I have
artistic.
multiple different styles. It depends on who I'm drawing for.
She did a bang up job for my campaign.
Look at this shit.
Is that sheesh? Is that you, Joe?
Sheesh. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I
That's an
did it within-
incredible. I love that picture.
I'll do a new one that I'll actually spend like a good amount of time on.
It's
and
better
it'll
than the
be good.
Messiah one. But yeah, that's what I look like right now. I got like an
That's
undercut.
actually, I like that. That looks really
Dang,
good.
I'm not even in it. I'm not even in it. Right.
That's
right.
actually a really good drawing for 5
Hey, Brandon,
minutes.
because you don't terrorize Funky.
I wish I was in it, but all right.
I really do look like I'm like being fucking like I don't even know. Just
Did you see
Tortured.
the one? Did you see the one in podcast chat where it's like sketches
Yeah.
of?
oh my god, yes.
Are you a little pog champ, Joe?
I am a little.
Hey,
podcast.
that
Do
looks
not
like
say that. I'm gonna kick you from the server. Do not say that word ever again.
Did you happen to take inspiration from the gorillas? That reminds me
no,
of their
I was
style a little
looking
bit.
on Pinterest and I was like, okay,
I kind of get a
fam.
little bit of a vibe there,
It's
especially
really
with
good.
the
I love this shit.
top left
Here,
version.
wait, Owen,
looks good.
Owen, I'll send you a face reveal so you can match voices to faces.
I'm afraid now.
Yeah, I don't know. I've known Sarah for a while. I don't know what she looks like.
I got you, fam.
Face reveals. See, I'm ugly, but I can take a picture.
Dude,
if you
Owen,
want.
you're not fucking ugly, dude.
I'm hideous.
If I was gay, I'd fuck.
Oh yeah,
I'd fuck
100%.
Wait, this one
What do
has
you
a snap
Look at this
filter.
shit.
Nah,
You
I'm
get-
fucking. I'm a
That's what I
hottie.
look like, Owen.
You get one with the Snapchat
What?
filter.
Hey, that's what you look like. Dope.
Yeah.
I've seen you, Qbert, though.
Here,
No
where's
worries.
the one dude?
Here, I got
Send
you.
him a face reveal.
Okay, but like if you fuck a guy, but you like don't have any feelings for him, is it really gay?
No,
if you
only
fuck, but,
gay.
like, you didn't like it, are you actually gay?
Alright, hold on. Josh, I'm gonna clear it up for you, dog. It's only gay if you do not keep your socks on. If you take your socks,
Fair,
if you
Jared.
keep your socks on, you're fine.
This is based.
Okay.
Well,
I'm through.
Jared, I sent you the face reveal.
Wow. Weirdly, that's
Literally,
what I thought you would
literally
look like.
almost everybody knows what I look like. 'cause I
honestly,
sent face
Sarah,
reveals,
this
like,
this
in
drawing
general.
kind of reminds me of like an old Peanuts cartoon. Is that weird?
Oh,
Like you know those like Charlie Brown Peanuts
It
cartoons?
yeah.
I guess I kind of look like Charlie Brown here. I don't know. Fire dude, Josh. Oh my god. Q's just under me like.
See, I drew the stupidest face on Fire Dude because he was always just like in voice chat.
Fuck you, Joe.
He's always mumbling stuff.
What was the good night shit? Do the good night shit.
Why is why is my one arm so wide?
You know why? You know why?
Like it's like the muscle outlaps the whole arm.
You know why, Josh?
That shit
Josh,
fits.
you know
That shit
why?
fits. That shit fits on.
Let's go face reveal. Let's go face reveal.
What the?
We've kind of just moved on from the podcast. This is
We have.
hilarious.
I mean,
We
that's kind
have.
of also what this podcast is, though. It's just kind of us monkeying around.
Monkeying around.
Wow,
yes.
that's fucking lame. You should fucking shit yourself, you jackass.
Yeah, I might do that actually.
You
What's he
fucking
gonna do?
suck.
Bro, y'all
Joe,
can
you look
come
like a
next morning?
fucking bum.
I do.
Hey, I look
I hate
hot
you.
as shit, to be honest.
I hate you, Joe.
I'm a hottie. Solid 9 out of 10. In the right light.
I love the fact that Fire Dude. It almost looks like he has like a cape on, like a not like a cape, but like one of those like big collars that like a supervillain has, or like Doctor Strange.
Joe for you as well.
What?
Yeah, like the pieces of fire almost kind of look like he has like the like one of those like Doctor
Oh.
Strange collars.
Oh, like the collar of like something, and it's like just like tilted up. Oh wait, I know what you're talking about. I can't describe it.
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie, Owen. You looked like this like high school fucking history teacher I had.
You are the next thing I'm sucking off.
Sure. So I guess we'll end the podcast there. That was pretty fun. Just talked about whatever, and we're gonna be doing D&D in a bit.
I mean, I just feel like there wasn't enough moaning.
Josh,
Well, go for it. Go
let's hear
do
it,
it.
Josh.
Before it ends.
Wait,
Go, go, go.
Josh, wait, Josh, do the deep throat noise.
Do it.
Oh god.
No, I
Oh,
can't.
God.
Yes, please.
Deep throat. Deep throat.
Do
it,
Deep
please.
throat. Deep
Come
throat.
on, Josh.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. What the fuck is this server?
Oh my god, dude. Fucking that sexual right there.
Alright, well that was pretty fun. Cube or Brandon, you guys were recording, I guess?
Yep. I
So
recorded
just-
it.
Send me the if you can compress the file, I can upload it on YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Yo,
Joe.
you heard the VOD.
Oh, the VOD. That's right. Yes. How do we do the VOD? I do not know how to do the VOD.
Bud?
Imagine they forgot to record.
Joe,
Yes.
call me pretty.
You're pretty.
Thank
You're
you.
gorgeous. You're
Thank
you're
you.
handsome.
No, I'm
I
pretty.
will.
If I was
will,
like if I was like 1% bi curious, I'd let you smash.
I am gonna
What the
upload.
fuck?
I
I'm gonna,
appreciate the offer. I'm an
I'm
ass
gonna
man, Owen,
upload
as
the
we've stated.
podcast to
You
my
have no
YouTube
ass.
channel too, because I want to start it on my YouTube channel as well. So if you guys want to
Sure.
see that,
Yeah, just go ahead and send it to me when you can. VOD Cube, do you know how to do the VOD? Do I have to just end it and then grab it somewhere or what?
it should automatically upload to your Twitch, so then you have to.
Do I just end the stream? I don't have to do anything before I
Yeah,
end the
you
stream.
you have to end the stream. Yeah, you can end the stream, and then it'll, within like 5 minutes probably you'll have the VOD.
Okay, well. Goodbye, anyone who's ever gonna watch this in the future. If this ever does get views, I don't know why you watch this or why you listen to this.
If it ever does.
Yes, if it ever does. But thank you.
Fuck it.
Goodbye.
Yes, sir.
See you next time, I guess.
Yeah, see you next time.
I need a